All right, let's get started. All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier eye hypnosis life healer coach, and your personal guide. So today is a very special pod, I must say, a very special message. For those of you who've been following along, you know that one is, of course, I do this pod every single day. And ever since I started in, I should say, early November of 2022, I've been pretty much recording a pod every single day. In the initial phase, of course, I would, record. I think I went all of November, and then it sort of like spun into, you know what, let's do one more month. And before long, it was literally, making it a point to do this pod every single day. Of course, I remember now going back in time, December of 2022, I had some, personal stuff happening, so I chose to take a brief breather. Plus, of course, it was a new habit. And this is something that I'm sure you've noticed that happens in the life of a healer and a coach when we are testing out new systems, when we are creating new habits. That initially, the habit that we want to have can kind of pause momentarily or can come into some rough weather and we kind of stop it momentarily. But somewhere around between, let's say, Jan of 2023 to maybe beginning to middle of Jan of 2023, I decided that, hey, you know what? I'm just going to make it a point to make a go of it and get to a 1 year mark. And that was how it started. And so I went all the way into and through 2023. And by the time 2024 rolled around, I had already completed 1 year. And then, of course, from 2024, that was last year, I went all the way into this year. So now, of course, we are on track to keep going, all the way into 2026. I must say, of course, in all this time, I've always made it a point through whatever was happening to somehow record a pod, whether it was for a couple of minutes or sometimes they were much longer pods. Interestingly, I had a bit of I guess you could call it viral fever, and over the last 2 days, I needed to take a break. Monday night, somehow I still chose to record, and so I did a pod. And somehow yesterday just felt a little different, so I did finally take a day off. I didn't record yesterday, and interestingly enough, this morning when I woke up, I could feel more energized, ready to get back into it. I did a session with my community. This is for one of our premium groups. We did literally a 2.5 hour masterclass and a lot of deep coaching. And I also did a personal coaching after that for another hour and a half. And later this evening, I even did a community meetup. And in many ways, it was like, business as usual. So this is, of course, just to remind you again, you may ask, okay, so why am I telling you all of this? What's in it for you? One thing I can tell you is that, I've been doing so many of these experiments on many different levels, whether it be, building out this podcast, whether it be, being able to build a habit of consistency, whether it be, getting familiar with the medium, because I've done a lot of things that don't necessarily fit the medium. But, like I was telling a friend of mine, I'm looking at the long term. And so when you look at something, with a 20-year horizon, it's very easy to look at things differently versus when you look at things which is, from day to day, or maybe a 3 month, 6 months, or maybe a 1 year horizon. So I can definitely see that in many ways, whether it is my comfort and ease of talking into a camera with no one there, or talking into a camera with someone, because we do, of course, have a different podcast where I interview people who are in the space of healing and coaching, and we've done more than 80 episodes at this point. So whatever the skill be, I know that that decision that I made way back in 2022 has shaped, to a large extent, who I've been and who I'm becoming every single day. So why I'm bringing this up, of course, is that sometimes we need a reset. Sometimes it's a soft reset, and sometimes it's a hard reset. Somehow, interestingly enough, what happened 2 days ago uh, felt now in hindsight probably like a hard reset, even though it happened softly. So it's not like it was like a major illness or anything like that. Thank God. But it was definitely a reminder for me to just slow down, to just pause, and get ready, get back on the horse, as we say. And here we are, carrying on with new energy and, of course, renewed intention to make a difference. So this is really the whole point of doing this podcast. In the short run, I know it's not so much about chasing the likes or the views, and more than that, it's about building community. And so everything that I'm doing here is with the intention of building community. And my question, of course, to you now, for those of you who've followed along till this point, my question to you, of course, is that what metrics are you creating for the content that you're creating? What metrics are you keeping in mind for the content that you're creating? Is it likes? Is it views? Is it just the engagement, or more importantly, is it the inquiry? It's something I was asking members of my premium program as well. In all that you're creating now, what do you really want? And the resounding answer was they were looking for inquiry. That means for every piece of content that you're creating, how much of inquiry are you getting, right? Even if it is one person who wants to know more about what you do, or they want to engage you in maybe a session, whatever it be, at the end of the week, how many inquiries have you created versus how many likes, versus how many comments, versus how many views? Because remember, everything else is, at best, it's superficial. A lot of it is based on the algorithm. A lot of it is based on what is sort of like the current trend. And as we know, trends come and go. I'm not saying no to all the other three metrics, but when you actually start getting engagement, and more importantly, when you start getting inquiry, right? I'll say that again. When you start getting inquiry, that is when you know that you've hit something much deeper, and that people who you probably don't know yet, they have seen your content and they really want to reach out and get to know more about how you can help them. And that is really, that is my goal as well. And I see that more and more now, whether it is members of my own community. So it's not so much about necessarily about people who are out there, but it's also people in my own community. Like my creating content, how is it inspiring them? How is it helping them want to go deeper in their own journey? So as always, these pods are created keeping you in mind, and the intention, of course, is for you to be able to experience that major shift in your life. And of course, as always, this is one way to connect. If you happen to be seeing this live, thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching. And there are other ways, of course, for us to continue to connect. One is, of course, on every Monday and Friday between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. we meet in our community. This is a live format, so you get to meet me, you get to meet members of our community. We meet, of course, live, and you also get to meet members in our, we have Zoom breakout rooms, so you get to meet them as well. And if you feel that this format really does make a difference to you, and that you're able to do a lot more of your, your okay. seem to be having a problem, Houston. Let me see. Okay, we seem to have. Let's just double check this. Trusting we are online. Okay. Okay, we're gonna check this again. Might be running into some bandwidth issues here, so let's give it a go again. All right, looks like we are live again. So, like I said, the purpose of this is, of course, you get to meet members of our community, so that this is a space that can be for you, especially as a healer and a coach. And you have a place where you can always come back. It's literally like coming home. And apart from this, of course, if you want to go deeper on the weekend, and yes, one last thing, of course, before we step into that space, this program is called the iHypnosis Life Experiences. As the name suggests, you get to have deeper experiences. And if you like the format, you can go deeper. And on the weekends, we meet between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. on Fridays, and of course Saturdays and Sundays between 6 and 9 p.m. This is an in-depth process, and those who pay attention. So this is, of course, a paid program, but your first session is free. So come and experience it for yourself. And if this has made a difference in your life, this program, attending it for 3 hours, if this has made a difference in your life, then you're welcome to continue on the journey. And there is a 3-month renewable membership. And this is a way for you to continue to go deeper in your own inner journey, your own inner quest, especially as a healer and a coach. And more importantly, you have a community that's here to support you. So this is one way to continue on the journey. And along the way, while you're in the iHypnosis Life Advanced, which is the 3-month program, you can also go deeper by learning the skills, because if what you've experienced has made a difference in your life, you can, of course, also learn these skills, because this is something that I myself have learned over the last 20 plus years, and it's something that I've trained hundreds of people, and last count probably now is thousands of people. But again, the important thing is that this is now available to you, and that you can learn these skills and not only practice it in a group live, but also you can go out into the world and use this to make a difference in the lives of others, whether it be your clients or, of course, relationships that matter most to you. And lastly, of course, if you're looking to be mentored by me personally, then we do have a personal coaching program that's suited for you, and seats to open up from time to time, so you can definitely ask for more details about this. And of course, having said all of that, remember to live your purpose. God bless, and of course, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.